Here are Ryan's top 3 favorite wrestlers. Number 3, Will Ospreay. Number 2, Kenny Omega. Number 1, Master Wada. No way, that can't be right. Damn! Now back to Jack and Ryan on the MonsterCast.
Jim Cornette doesn't think that women should be in ladder matches. He was referring to a spot that the spot that Zelina did, where she did the code red or like a flipping sunset flip or whatever, and they both bounced off, and Zelina went fucking flying off or whatever. It was one of the cooler spots in the Money in the Bank match that they had. So the funny thing is the love-hate relationship I have with Jim Cornette, and it's mostly hate. Don't get me wrong. Because his views are so outdated, it's fucking ridiculous. But they're only outdated in certain things. Like, there's other things he's spot on, even outside of wrestling. Like, he hates Republicans, all this other shit, but then he says something stupid like this that really pisses me off.
What he's really good at in the wrestling stuff now is that, I will give him credit for this, because he's got so many dog shit takes, and like some of his stuff is super like stuck in the 80s, all this weird Kenny Omega fucking hate boner shit is very off-putting to me. But one thing that he is still pretty good at is that if there's an angle that's playing out, or if there's like a way that like they do a storyline, I've heard him come in after the fact and be like, you know, if they had run this way instead, or presented this way instead, or had this character say or do this instead, it would have made more sense. He's good with that kind of stuff, but
so am I though.
Speaking,
I'm good with that.
Right.
Armchair quarterback, that's easy, a lot easier than when you were running 100%. Smoky Mountain and putting a bunch of dumb shit out there.
Right, exactly. So the thing is, it's not that valuable a skill, because like every fan who's familiar enough with the product can do that. So I'm not going to say that like nothing he's ever said has been insightful or useful or relevant to modern business, but a lot of it isn't. And this is another one of those things where he's just like, he's stuck on this old way of thinking about how women's wrestling should work. He's stuck on this old way of thinking about how wrestling should work in general. So yeah, no, I didn't hear this one specifically, but I went back and listened to his review of the Ospreay Omega match, just because it, you know, algorithm feeds me his shit, and you know, some of the stuff that he was saying about that.
Well, algorithm plus we might want to use we might want to use the show as a rebuttal too. So sometimes I do go out of my way to listen to about 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, okay, I'll if it's really bad, I'll get excerpts from it from somebody on social media, so it's not a big of a deal. I don't have to go out of my way to search fucking Jim Cornette and watch 20-minute videos or whatever.
The thing that bothers me with him is that his goalposts are always moving for what he's considering important in wrestling. So one of the big things that he's always talked about was like, oh, well, does it draw money? Does it like
well, I can say that the Money in the Bank, the Money in the Bank concept and pay-per-view surrounding it draws money. It's a very awesome fucking pay-per-view. And when you only have a max of 2 a year, that's not overkilling it, even though they're both on the same show. It's not like fucking TNA Lockdown where every match was a fucking cage match. You got 10 goddamn matches and they're all cage matches. So I view this as a different thing. Also, the reasoning he was given behind why the women shouldn't be in it is because of the spot that they did. That specific spot he was talking about was Zelina, and I forgot who the fuck she did it to. I want to say Zoe Stark, but I'm not positive on that, so don't quote me on that. But when they get up and act like it didn't hurt them or something, and then Hobbs is selling a ladder attack or something or whatever, he's trying to justify it as Hobbs should no-sell it if they're no-selling it type deal. Well, like, why is it not hurting Hobbs? Why is it hurting Hobbs rather, and not hurting the people in this fucking Money in the Bank match type deal? And I'm sitting there like, well, why are you viewing them as the same thing anyway? Hobbs isn't getting hit by a ladder from Zelina Vega. He's getting hit from a ladder from a Brian Cage or a Ricky Starks or something like that. That's not the same. So it doesn't matter. It's not even the same amount of force. So I don't even understand the correlation between the two.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I do think that sometimes people that watch women's wrestling watch it with the mindset that like everything hurts equally as it does in men's matches, but the truth is that humans generally, like across genders, have the same pain tolerance, but not necessarily the same ability to apply force. So
my counter argument to him, if I was talking to him in person, would be, okay, so Ric Flair can chop Ricky Morton and he fucking hurts like a motherfucker, but Ric Flair can chop Nikita Koloff and he no-sells it. Why isn't he reacting the exact same way? It's the same amount of fucking pressure. Because it's fucking different people. That's why. Doesn't even make any sense, dude.
Or if you know, or if you had what the fuck was that guy with no chin? James Ellsworth. If you had James Ellsworth chop somebody and they no sell it, is that just as bad as Ric Flair chopping somebody and them?
Yeah,
not
it wasn't
selling?
like Will Hobbs was taking a fucking ladder shot from James Ellsworth, right, and then selling it, etc. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then Zelina Vega is around the same size as pretty much. I mean, she's the smallest one out of probably the group, but she's around the same size. It's not that big of a fucking drop off. No one's over there like, oh my god, she just no sold fucking Zelina's move or some shit. Like, I felt like he went out of his way to make a point about this when he didn't need to.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch. All links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.